Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a 16-year-old accused of a mass shooting now faces charges as an adult.
A woman is suing the Santa Fe Police Department after an arrest left her with ant bites.
And this evening, we remember the 19 migrants who died in a hot-packed tractor trailer.
Big difference in our weather today. Lots of sunshine. It got up into the 90s. We've got one more day of this kind of weather before the storms come back. We'll be talking about that coming up.
And Victoria is a city of champions. Watch as St. Joseph softball wins a state title coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A 59-year-old suspect was arrested by DeWitt County deputies Monday. Aaron Holtz faces 2 charges of indecency with a child, sexual contact, and 4 charges of sexual assault of a child. The charges date back to March 2017. Holtz is in the DeWitt County jail in lieu of $180,000 bond.
Victoria County deputies arrested a 31-year-old suspect today. Jessica Mata of Victoria faces 2 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She is in the Victoria County jail in lieu of a $50,000 bond. And a Victoria daycare center faces claims of child abuse. Victoria Police Department and the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services are working together in an investigation of the reported incident. The preliminary investigation showed a 1-year-old parents took their child to a local hospital due to the possible abuse at the daycare.
Today marks 21 years since the killing of 19 undocumented immigrants at Fleming Prairie Road near U.S. Highway 77.
The 19 people died inside the back of a hot-packed tractor trailer. A total of 70 people were found inside the truck, which reached 173 degrees. Among those found dead were a teen and a 5-year-old boy. Every year since the tragedy, family members, friends, and the community gather to honor the lives lost. Saturday, May 18th at noon, a group will gather at Fleming Prairie Road and U.S. Highway 77. That's where the Refugio Highway, to remember the victim.
Eugene Bustamante was sworn in Monday night as El Campo's first Hispanic mayor. The retired firefighter got the most votes May 4th for 3 undesignated at-large representative posts. The top vote getter in that election becomes the mayor for the next 2 years. Bustamante, an incumbent councilman, was El Campo's mayor pro tem. He missed getting elected El Campo mayor in the previous election by just 4 votes.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Thank you very much. Very different from yesterday, wouldn't you say? Dry, warm, sunny weather, and boy, what a difference. Here is the storm that brought us all the nasty stuff that is now moving east, giving them a hard time. And over here is the next system. This is another area, another storm system in the upper atmosphere that's going to roll over our area, Texas, basically, by Thursday. And that means we bring back the stormy chance. So we'll be talking more about that coming up a few minutes from now. Stay tuned.
A 16-year-old boy accused of carrying out a mass shooting in Florida that injured an NFL player will now face charges as an adult.
Authorities say Christopher Bowie is facing 5 counts of attempted murder. Investigators say he opened fire inside the Cabana Live restaurant last month in Sanford, Florida. The eatery was hosting a party. Detectives say he was first involved in a brawl at the restaurant and then fired gunshots into the crowd. 10 people were wounded, including Houston Texans wide receiver Tank Dell. The victims all survived. A security guard tackled Bowie and pulled his gun away.
Horrifying video surfaced following a drive-by shooting at an apartment complex in Fort Worth, which shot 6 people earlier this month. Home security cameras show bullets narrowly missing a 9-year-old boy who had just sat down on a couch, sending a cloud of dust over the boy's head. The boy's mother ran outside and found 6 people were shot, including 4 children. As for the boy's family, they are now trying to find a new place to live. They have set up a GoFundMe to help with moving costs. Fort Worth police have since turned to the public for more information. Now, a Texas woman is filing a civil lawsuit against the city of Santa Fe.
Now, this comes after she says police arrested her laying down with ants biting her face in 2021.
Ants are getting my face, please!
This is a moment Taylor Rogers says she'll never forget. She's getting arrested by Santa Fe police after trying to drop her son off. This is the focus of a lawsuit against the city of Santa Fe and the police department.
The morning of August 19th, 2021 stands out in my memory as a day that underscored a significant issue: the absence of empathy and human compassion among some individuals in law enforcement.
But one of the officers on scene at the time, now the school district police chief, said this clip doesn't tell the full story. Police Chief Ruben Espinoza said Rogers was arrested after going the wrong way at the elementary school, then allegedly driving away from officers.
She was treated with respect, professionalism. She was not abused. There was no ants that we could see.
So from your understanding, the first time you heard her say, hey, there are ants here, moments later she was lifted off from the ground?
Seconds later, not moments later, seconds later.
Rogers and her attorney say they want the officers reprimanded and asking for additional training.
I urge the Santa Fe Police Department, along with all law enforcement agencies, to embody the principles they espouse within their own walls.
Roman Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
A Houston woman is the third person to plead guilty in the Henry Cuellar bribery case. The native of Azerbaijan pleaded guilty to facilitating a $60,000 payment to Imelda Cuellar, the congressman's wife, that she believed would benefit Azerbaijan and its state-run oil company. This comes after Cuellar and his wife were charged with accepting nearly $600,000 in bribes from two foreign entities. Cuellar says they are innocent of the allegations, and he vows to run for re-election.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was in Austin Monday night. Kennedy's running mate Nicole Shanahan also made an appearance after her first campaign outing over the weekend. This is the first time the pair shared the stage since the March 26 announcement that she would be joining his campaign.
The DNC has done everything in their power to stop us, and they'll continue to do that, but we are going to get on the ballot in every single state, and I want to thank all of you who are part of this.
With less than 6 months until Election Day, Kennedy told a large group of supporters that he now has enough signatures to be on the November ballot in Texas, and that he is targeting New York's ballot next. Nearly 2 years after the Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, polls show that Americans remain broadly opposed to the ruling.
But in the middle of a presidential election where the major candidates offer starkly different approaches to the issue, the country is less united over how best to handle abortion laws.
It's an issue that is both deeply personal.
It was the hardest decision we've ever made, but our decision came from a place of compassion and love.
And politically fraught. It could be one of the biggest issues driving voters to the polls in November. So where did the 2024 presidential candidates stand on abortion rights? Former President Donald Trump had a shifting stance prior to running for office, but in 2015 said he had evolved, making a key promise to the Republican base.
The justices that I'm going to appoint will be pro-life. They will have a conservative bent.
The 3 Supreme Court justices he nominated all voted to overturn Roe v. Wade in 2022, ending the federal right to an abortion. Trump has wavered on whether or not he would sign a national abortion ban, most recently saying he believed those decisions should be left to the states.
And the states are putting out what they want. It's the will of the people.
While Trump continues to campaign on what he calls the biggest win for life in a generation, polls show that Americans broadly oppose the overturning of Roe, giving President Joe Biden's campaign the opportunity to make protecting abortion rights a flagship issue.
Congress must codify Roe v. Wade for all the states in America,
believing it will boost support for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot.
When reproductive freedom was on the ballot, we won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Democrats on the campaign trail have leaned into the word freedom when it comes to abortion rights, a word that Republicans have used for decades to frame other parts of their agenda. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The Red Lobster in Victoria is one of nearly 50 restaurants in the chain that is closing as of today. Red Lobster is now in the process of liquidating equipment and furniture from the restaurants they closed. Red Lobster reportedly was considering filing for bankruptcy. Red Lobsters in Texas closing along with Victoria include locations in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio.
A student from Bloomington High School has taken best in state for welding. Sophomore Isaias Perez won first place in the state of Texas in welding at the Texas State Technical College High School Welding Build-Off in Waco earlier this month. Students received a guide in what to weld and had to complete the project within a certain amount of time. Welding instructor Ishmael Gonzalez says that Isaias has already taken the steps needed to become successful.
We have students enrolled in this program that are willing to be successful. They put in the work, they put in the time, and that's what it takes to be successful at anything, whether it's in life, any skill, any application that you put your life to. That's what you need to do. Put 100% in it, and this young man has done that.
Isaias also won a scholarship to Texas State Technical College, and yes, he plans to pursue welding as a career.
Here's your viewer poll. Should more high schools across the country invest in more vocational training programs? Yes or no? Overwhelmingly, our voters say 97 to 3%. Yes, they should. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We thank you for voting. We'll have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Early voting for the May 28th runoff election starts next Monday, May 20th. Early voting will be at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours are next Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on
YouTube.
Thank you. Stay with us. Police identified the remains of a Texas man found in the chimney of a Wisconsin business. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 6.
Also ahead, an update from Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's attorneys following the involuntary manslaughter conviction.
Attorneys for the Rust movie set armorer are appealing Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's involuntary manslaughter conviction. Gutierrez-Reed was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in March and sentenced to 18 months in prison for the 2021 fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The involuntary manslaughter case against Alec Baldwin, who starred in and produced the film, is set to begin in July. Police in Madison, Wisconsin say they have identified the remains of a person found in the chimney of a local business.
The man's remains, who has ties to Texas, were discovered more than 30 years ago.
The biggest thing we're looking for right now is the experts that can reconstruct this body, so we have some idea if it's male or female, possibly how old, how tall, how heavy.
One question from the scene of a grisly discovery in a store on University Avenue in 1989 now answered.
This unsolved case has puzzled people across the country for more than 3 decades. A human skeleton found in the chimney of a Madison music store way back in 1989.
The Madison Police Department, with help from the DNA Doe Project and Name Us, used digital genetic genealogy technology from a rootless hair found on Ronnie Kirk's body to identify him.
The genetic profile was uploaded to GEDmatch Pro and eventually Family Tree DNA.
Now that investigators know his name, they can try to trace his final steps.
This identification is just the first major step in the investigation. Now we start the process of trying to figure out who Ronnie was and how he ended up in Madison.
Police say Kirk grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was married twice, and has ties to his birth state, as well as Texas, Alabama, Missouri, and Wisconsin.
Someone may remember something.
One question stumped investigators back then.
I guess that's the one question that's still unanswered. We don't know if he was put there or if he got there himself. That's something that we aren't going to be able to answer right now.
And it's a question that's still top of mind today.
We don't know when he was in the chimney. Remember, it was a skeleton when we found it, so the time of death is going to be difficult.
Police say Kirk's family has been notified. They say it's a relief to get this confirmation.
The 2024 tornado season has the second most reported tornadoes to date on record. The Storm Prediction Center says there were at least 781 tornado reports through May 13th. That stands behind only 2011, which had more than 1,300 by this date. Records go back to the 1950s. The center says the average number of tornado reports through May 13th is 620. That makes this year well above average.
Well, we, of course, know that springtime is the volatile time of the season, that the warm air is coming up, the cold air is not retreating, and so it collides and we get that stormy weather. You can also add a simple number, 30%. Okay, what is that? That's what some of the scientists believe is the factor that we add on top of the severity of storms because of a warming atmosphere. So you can say, okay, we've had 30% more rain, 30% more hail, and I think it's a pretty good little number. Anyway, as you see right about now, we're at 92 out there. We managed to get up to 93 this afternoon. This is, of course, not a record, but pretty close. 95 is our record. Coming up, we'll be talking about this warm weather for one more day, and then we've got another round of storms. We'll be looking at that coming up after this. What a difference that day makes. At this hour yesterday, we were looking at all kinds of stormy weather, but that is all gone. In fact, this storm system right here is the one that produced it because, remember, it is spinning in this fashion. And as it spins, it's lifting the air ahead of it. That's why all the stormy weather is right in front of it. So you see an L, you look to the front, you'll see the stormy weather, okay? But that one's gone. It's past our area. But look at this. We've got another one coming in from the southwest that'll be crossing the Rockies and then getting into our area. Looks like it'll be here on Thursday. And so with all this heat and humidity and with that lifting of that upper air system, we've got a chance of getting more stormy weather. Today, absolutely quiet across the entire state. No stormy weather, even though in the Panhandle we have a slight risk, marginal risk for some thunderstorms. Haven't popped up yet. That's okay. We're not invited to that. For tomorrow, very interesting that we get more stormy weather out in the Panhandle and down into far west Texas. We're not invited to that as well. That's great, right? But then on Thursday, yes, here's the bullseye where we expect the possibility of some stormy weather. Remember, that low is out here. It's going to be spinning, spinning, spinning. And when it gets here, it pumps up all that Gulf moisture, lifts it to the higher atmosphere, and we get those big thunderstorms. This one is pretty close to our area, so we have a chance of getting some stormy weather around here on Thursday. And then by Friday, it should start pulling out. You got one more day if you need to go get a tan. Well, you know, we got the whole summer, I guess. But tomorrow will be sunny and warm, getting up to 91 for us, 95 up in the San Antonio area, and around 100 down along the Rio Grande. And of course, you know, we've already had 100s throughout the southwest portion of the state, so it's nothing that they haven't seen already. So here's a view of the future tracker. And you can see how we go forward from Tuesday on into Wednesday morning. Everything is fine. Tomorrow's a good day to get anything done. And then we get to Wednesday night, you see some activity out in far west Texas. Then we go into Thursday, and all of a sudden, we've got potential happening over the area. And that's Thursday morning. And Thursday night, right about here, you'll see that big cluster of stormy weather basically coming from West Texas down to the Gulf Coast. That look familiar to you? I mean, it's just exactly what the last system did. And so we'll watch for that, because by Friday it will start pulling out of the area. Well, you know, pretty soon we're going to start talking about this. As a matter of fact, down here in the Pacific, there is a good possibility we may have the first storm, tropical storm in about 5 or 6 days. However, that one's in the Pacific. We don't have to worry about it. What we have to worry about is this right here. You see all this black, 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 black? That's the water temperature, and as you can see, the water is already 85, 83, 84, 83. That's July water temperature. So we are 30% warmer than we should be at this time of year, and that's why we're concerned about anything that starts picking up in the stormy in the Atlantic. Tomorrow, getting up to about 90 degrees in the inland areas, and then like I said, we got one more day of sunny skies. Thursday, potential for rain. That's why I already have it down as an alert day. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Zach Brown with your sports.
The St. Joseph Lady Flyers, state champions. Watch as they celebrate for the first time since 2011 coming up in sports. A state championship is returning to Victoria. The St. Joseph Lady Flyers run rule Grapevine Faith. This right here, the final run. The final score was 12-2. St. Joseph set the tone early with 5 first-inning runs, adding 2 more in the 4th, 4 more in the 5th, and that last one we see right here in the 6th. They also had 17 hits in the ball game, brought out their best when it mattered the most. St. Joseph, TAP state champions, and they only had 2 seniors on the team, Sophie Rodriguez and Elena St. Jean. They are returning a great squad next year as well, and they also had 4 Lady Flyers who were named to the all-tournament team. Jasmine Games, just a freshman. Shane Meismer, also just a freshman. And those 2 seniors I mentioned, Elena St. Jean and Sophie Rodriguez, also named to the all-tournament team. And the ladies were far away in Arlington, but they had some fans over at the Dome cheering them on. Classes were able to watch the game throughout the morning. Some classrooms streamed the game. Others went over to the Flyer Dome to watch as their Lady Flyers brought home a state title for the first time since 2011. Flyer Nation was very proud. These girls, like I said, are young, will return nearly everyone. They could very well make another run at it next year. And speaking of teams making a run and doing things they haven't done in years, how about Victoria East? Regional quarter round bound for the first time since 2018. They have had their eyes set on a deep push all year long, and now it's here. When I got over to practice at Riverside, the guys were loud, energetic, excited, and Coach Wes Coley excited to be back here and proud of the guys who have come so far.
Extremely proud of the guys, you know, not only happy for them, but for our school, for our community, to see all the hard work that they've put in. You know, we didn't come this far just to come this far. You know, we got bigger plans, and this just happens to be the next games on the schedule, and we're extremely excited and blessed to be playing in round 3. We talk about this from day one when they come on campus as freshmen, you know, about making the playoffs, about winning a district championship and ultimately a state championship. And so they've heard stories, they see the writings on the wall, they see the pictures of the teams and the accolades that previous Titan teams have achieved. And so now they're just running with the torch, and extremely proud of the seniors for their leadership and them getting us here.
They will get Brownsville Veterans Memorial. That series will take place at Corpus at Cabinet Stadium. Game 1 Friday at 7 p.m. Games 2 and 3 would be the next day on Saturday. That is it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. We're back in a moment. Residents in Northern Virginia's suburb have noticed a black bear strolling through the streets.
Finally tonight, a black bear wandered through a Virginia town seemingly unbothered. As people rushed to their windows and curbs to survey the spectacle, they also warned their neighbors. The Animal Welfare League of Arlington suspects this bear is a juvenile bear and advised neighbors to keep their pets inside and not to approach the bear. From this family's doorbell camera, he bounced yard to yard. Now, the plan is to leave the bear alone and let him make his way out of the county. Plan B would be to leave the bear alone and let everybody who lives in the county get out of that county.
It was in Arlington?
Arlington, Virginia.
Oh,
Arlington, Virginia.
Joe girls get some VR real quick.
No, no, that would be unbearable. This is not bear weather here for sure.
No, not at all. It's too warm for a bear
Too
coat.
warm, yeah.
Absolutely. We should be about 90 again, 90, maybe 92 tomorrow. So we're looking for one more hot day. But then again, I've got an alert day already up for Thursday, because it looks like a second round of thunderstorms coming through the region, and we'll certainly be tracking it for you because we want the rain. We just don't want all that other stuff, you know?
I agree with that. Thank you, Meg, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.